Tākuta Ferris.
Tēnā koe te pika. When you mention Constitution in Aotearoa, you cannot ignore Te Tiriti o Waitangi, for it is the bedrock of the modern Constitution. Although many seem hell-bent on keeping their heads in the sand and behaving as if it was 1924. We understand this has all transpired in a relatively short period of time, and that adjusting is hard for some. A knowledge gap is a dangerous thing. It allows lies to be presented as truths. Politicians call this obfuscation, the art of making something unclear, intentionally vague, ambiguous, to conceal or obscure the truth, to confuse others. Lies, in other words. Many in this House are masters of it, and it is a disservice to those who voted you into your positions. Unless, of course...
A point of order. There is a point of order taking place.
Mr. Speaker,
Right Honourable Winston Peters.
It is simply not acceptable for someone inexperienced as he is to nevertheless accuse some other MPs to keep quiet while I make a point of order, right? Keep quiet while I'm making a point of order.
Yeah, good. Make your point.
That's number one. See, Mr. Speaker?
Well, I would advise the member just to sit quietly while we hear a point of order. That's what standing orders requires.
He made the allegation that members of this Parliament are liars. And he should have been stopped in the tracks right then.
And my apologies, I didn't quite pick that up, but if that is what the member said, then he should withdraw and apologise. I'd also make it very clear to the member that reading speeches is not part of the tikanga of the House either. So the member may wish to continue, but if he has made that statement, we'll obviously check Hansard later, then he should withdraw and apologise as quickly as possible.
I haven't made that statement. Lies, in other words. Many in this House are masters of it, and it is a disservice to those who voted you into your positions.
Oh, well, no, hang on, wait on. We can't go back and hear what was said inside this House.
Lies, in other words. Many in this House are masters of it, and it is a disservice to those who voted you into your positions.
But we will check it, and I do hope the member hasn't misled the House with that particular claim. Resume the speech.
So, if, oh no, hide am I. So we must move Parliament in a direction that sees the knowledge gap close. To disable those who seek to exploit it, there must be prerequisite understandings for becoming an MP. This is in the interest of all who call Aotearoa home. Many who suffer from this knowledge gap have naturally spent a lot of time away from Aotearoa or lived outside of Aotearoa. In my professional life, I've encountered many of them. People who spend a long time away and then return home and are astounded at the level of influence that Māori now have. I've had it described to me as, wow, what happened? Well, what happened is progress, and ignorance is no excuse for wanting to halt progress. I recall a moment like this in 2021 when newly crowned leader of the opposition, Christopher Luxon, was being questioned on the news about his views on Te Tiriti o Waitangi. He was visibly uncomfortable, clearly out of his depth, and said, well, Maori ceded sovereignty. I recall thinking to myself, gee, we could be in trouble here. This fella could become Prime Minister. And here we are, 6 urgent hearings of the Waitangi Tribunal in as many months, unprecedented, never in our history. The tribunal's usually lucky to have 1 a year. Now they've got 6, 7, 8, who knows how many will come. And peaceful protests from Te Reinga to the Bluff. The legacy is emerging. And all because the 6 and 8% want to keep their heads in the sand and ignore the constitutional arrangements of our country. Well, we're not going anywhere, and neither is the debate. And when you're ready to have it with Te Iwi Māori in open debate, the invitation is here and we'll be waiting.
A point of order of the Honourable Shane Jones.
So my point of order relates to the fact that the way in which the House has evolved, it's sought to embrace a greater dimension of what it means to be Māori. But there are the traditions of the House, and I appeal to you, if a member is incapable of giving a 5-minute speech without relying on a computer or written notes, that is grossly inconsistent with every tradition I've seen observed in this House since the time that I arrived, right back to the days of Parikura Horomia. And I would ask that you return to the House and lay down, is that actually the standard or not? Or are we going to have a different standard just because it's from a minority party who believe they're full of piety?
Well, notwithstanding the last bit, I will come back to you on that.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Kapakagi.
Kaupai. Speaking to that point of order, I am thoroughly pleased that to be able to use my notes as a new MP has been hugely important and grateful. So I'm glad for that privilege, and I thank the Speaker for enabling that to happen. I just wanted to speak to that point of order. Thank
That's
you.
very presumptuous. I haven't enabled anything. I did suggest to the previous Speaker that he consider the standing order which says you do not read a speech, you deliver a speech. People will use notes, nothing wrong with that, but setting up a screen in front of you and reading from it is not part of the deal. So I will come back to something on that tomorrow.